So today I'd like to address how much I don't really agree with the, um, I guess, how prophecy is situated across the timeline of what we know as time. I don't really, I can't tell you for sure that the Ezekiel war is going to happen now, and that has anything to do with what's happening in Israel and Gaza. I mean, it really. I mean, for a long time, I've been telling myself, Monique, like, don't be. Um, I think that I've had an opportunity, like a very fair, equal opportunity act to be a drug dealer. I have. I mean, trust me. There's, there is certainly the demand, according to a lot of statistics out there. But I don't like snorting, and I don't like. I won't even take a dive. Like, I don't like water. I don't like anything up my nose. I don't like anything. I like to think that anything that I intake is going to be healthy, and it's going to make my um, organs, not like the organ that you actually go into the church and play, but like the organs that I use to survive, that they're going to be fully functioning. So that's always a great incentive. I am a little bit afraid about like Noah's Ark, because people like marry other people. I don't want to marry. I don't want to marry. I don't want to marry. I like, if get to know me, that's fine. I will be your on a boundaries basis, arm's length person to get a job done, but I can't do anything other than that. So sometimes you do come across people, situations that you feel like you have to give more than yourself, and you don't have to. So with that said, there was something a little bit more important that I had. Right, the 14-page at Alexandria Ocasio thing with um, Marjorie. See, I was going to get your name all messed up. Marge, like in The Simpsons. That helps because I grew up watching TV. So it's Marge. And at this point, all right, so okay. I actually started to read up a little bit on, because I did grow up thinking about the environment. Just, I mean, it was hammered in my mind, like, oh my God. Oh my God, Becky, you don't litter. And, it's like, okay, I don't even like. So let's not litter. Let's not litter. Let's not do anything that is inappropriate, except, of course, that a lot of times that's not being addressed by the same people. So it's kind of like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to give you a little bit of my own grievance here. This is my grievance. Trump is something else. I mean, if I were Trump and I'd had the millions to give my grievance and went into Capitol Hill and said, or practiced the Constitution to my full ability in order to actually enact a civil order, then I would. Except I'm not. I don't. So I'm gonna rely totally on divinity. Whatever is gonna happen is gonna happen, and everybody's gonna have to be like very much up to their own wits, up to their own abilities, and etc. So From the moment that I set out to actually think that I could be a person that can live in civilization and be a part of something, anything, I knew that it was not going to be because I was going to be peer pressured. I wasn't going to be romanced. I wasn't going to be bought out to be some sort of person that I'm not. I want to have my time. I want to take the time to think about what I want. And I want to afford that to other people as well, because that's how it goes. When you think about something for yourself, you're allowing it for other people. And that's like, that's something that I learned really around not necessarily Mexican people, because Mexican people are like, if you allow something for yourself, you're dumb. You're dumb. And if you allow something for yourself again, you're dumb again. And then you're dumb for like letting it like, so as the expression goes, it's your fault. Shame on you for doing it. Shame on me for letting it happen, etc. So the Mexican people that I know, and that I'm pretty sure this is a culture in Mexico that has had a big impact. Nobody talks about the anthropology of what's going on in Mexico now. At the same time, they are eventually going to get used to be a part of whatever war comes next. So, as a Mexican person that is definitely not under the shelter by choice of any man, any white man, I would like to definitely extend my solidarity to every Mexican person to say, don't fight anybody else's war. This is crazy. So when you think that people are going through their own tribulation and that sort of thing, that's okay. That's fine. It's their own an individual tribulation, and there should be resources to help them out. It's a different thing to say that as a whole, you're going to have like some sort of necessitation. I'm thinking years ahead here, okay? Because I've already seen where things have gone since I've said that. Since I've thought, maybe not said so much. So I'm saying now that I agree entirely with everything that has happened as a cause of a lax a, a lax of administrative duties, a lax um, of setting the boundaries and going on. It would be nice to see people. It would have been nice to see people joining each other, but ultimately this becomes sort of like the norm. So the norm is people are going to give us infections and that sort of thing. Okay. I'm glad that, you know what, all my grandparents are now deceased. You can't share their wisdom. But you know what? I took so much from them when I visited them just by, they didn't have any words. They just like, God, like they felt sorry for me. They felt bad, and I'm thinking like, Okay, well, I'll do everything I can to make sure that I don't get myself in any mess and that sort of thing. So at the same time, I just really don't want to be a part of anything that is either for or against anything. So I'm not for or against the Israel or Palestinian. I'm not for or against the Republicans or the Democrats. I want to actually, I'm going to be working on making sure, on doing my part as a conservative to encourage Republicans to think more about keeping things green. Although, let's research this a little bit and let's go far back as um, I don't want to bring God into the equation of politics because God is like so much bigger than like some of these measly peasants that are trying to go out there and peddle their ideas about how to make this world better. Well, really, it's all. I'm not the person that wants to get bought. I'm the person that wants to, yeah, I mean, I want to get rich. I don't want to get rich by like misleading people. I want to get rich by saying, like, hey, well, business deals are business deals. That's what it is. It's all business. People in Congress, we're not, you're talking to business people. You can't tell business people that you're gonna basically pay everybody off so that all business people are washed out. This is absurd. This is like, there's no word for it. And besides, okay, so I did actually read the 14 pages. I'm not mocking. I mean, I get it. Like most of anything that the Bill 197 House Bill has to say is basically it's so vague and like it's so like okay, it has no very specific steps. It doesn't, anybody can use that bill to even like, okay, so are you I don't know. I mean, I've never tried drugs in my entire life, so I have no idea what you might be going through if you are on drugs, but okay. So so that's what I really had to say. I have been researching a little bit about what I know. I know that when I was in school in the 80s or so, that that was huge. Recycling. We have to recycle. Okay, let's, but eventually the way that it sort of, I was even thinking like, no, don't kill cows, and I didn't eat meat for like I was like this little skinny scrawny thing, and and then I had kids, and I thought I can't make them me. I don't want to make them into like this little scrawny little thing. I have to make them into like whatever is what else is out there. So I can shut myself out and withdraw and be everything that you want and not and avoid being everything that you want me to be. I'll just put it that way because I have never done anything I don't want to do in my life. Never been forced. I've never been abused except for like mental issues or a whole other thing. I blame myself for it, by the way, because I do know that I have accepted thinking about other people's ideas. And when you do that, sometimes it starts to reframe. the way that you think about yourself. And sometimes it's very, like forceful. And I will do something to actually make sure that that doesn't get in the way of my own personal development, the same way that I don't want it to happen to anybody else. So I don't blame anybody. I don't. This is the problem. When you are pushed into a situation where you're being like harassed and etc., like even if it's just in your own head, you start to think, who do I blame? Who do I blame? So this is the problem here. Don't blame anybody. Assume responsibility. You'll get better, and move forward, so that you can eventually share your own story and lessons to other people. And as far as time goes, time is dictated by no other than the Almighty creator of everything, God, who nobody comprehends. Nobody, nobody. You can have a strong connection with God on an individual level, and then you could just not. When this is proof. This is proof that there's a God that loves us all. He's not going to give me everything I want right now, right now. He's not going to give you. He created us because he wants us to just be. And I know if I've thought, okay, so then if I die and I end up in heaven, I'm just going to be like a star. Perfect. Okay. So I'm just like, who wants to just be like a star, like people want to. And then I thought, well, yeah, that's why you come back. That's why there's people that want to share ideas, and we want to keep growing and making things interesting and the whole thing. This is what God is. So he definitely listens. Let's just make sure that he doesn't. Well, he's probably, I think at this point, he's given us the job to be the comforting person to one another. I don't really think that God at this point is like happy with us. I'm like, and it's not just by reading the Bible, it's about just like things that like cross my head that I really don't want to go with, It's like I don't like, this is not right. Like you have to preserve your innocence. You have to help your children preserve their innocence. You have to help them preserve what they're going to think of themselves when they look at themselves, how they feel about themselves. Nobody else has to tell them what they should think of themselves, because God already made them a great person. And that is really, I guess, my take, because I know that I was born a very good person, that God has a purpose for it. But also, even if there was a person that God created that needed more help, because it's our job. It's our job as good people that believe that we came from a like a better source than what we can. We're flesh. We're flesh. Flesh is fine, it's beautiful. Look at me. I put my lipstick on. I have my little chain on, and okay. Did I get your attention? Perfect. Either way, we have it's everybody's job to find that silence in their I'm sorry. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because I'm not going to tell anybody what anybody's job is. It's everybody's job to understand that God loves us all, because that's what's helped me. If anything else, um, um above everything else, I should say, the fact that God created me and you different, that is what I respect, and that is what I have to go with. And I'm gonna preserve the way that God created me. I'm gonna preserve it, and I'm going to give that back to God. And if God had intentions for people in a different way, then that's what it is. But in my opinion, I feel that God created everybody to be a people that creates heaven on earth. This is not like this is from our Father's prayer, but it's also just from what I feel inside, and I just wanted to share that with everybody. So yeah, the whole climate change thing. Um, there's a little bit of scientific inconsistencies. If we want to get like really scientific, there's the only okay. So like scientifically speaking, you can't set a date, and it's like me setting a date for like Jesus coming, being a Christian. It's like, come on, give me a break. How are we as Christians not allowed to set a date for Jesus's second coming? Jesus, God, our Creator, His. That's who Jesus is, by the way. Um, but people out there are setting a date for the end of days. I mean, it's ridiculous. So you have to read these articles by the scientists, and I have a few good articles that we can start looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and put the first one on my, I guess, at the bottom of my bottom. Just kidding. No, it's going to be like, oh my God, that's totally okay. So then I will encourage everybody to read up on everything and just and question science and find out really what cycle of life are we on? What is the so-called is there cycles? First of all, question that, because maybe already I'm gonna actually quit here. I am looking forward to a serious debate from uh, our leadership in Congress, people that are voted on to represent the rest of us with their decisions on the rest of our lives. And I do want to be realistic, practical, and I do also want to take acknowledgement of everybody else's experience. Like, okay, this is what's been going on, but like seriously, like are aliens going to be taking over soon? I don't think so. Um, I do think, and this is probably crazier for some people, but God is watching. God is watching all the time. He knows when I do any bad thing. And I refuse to drag anybody else into it. So if that, so you can go ahead and, I don't know, I guess, forget the idea that I'm going to be caught doing anything wrong, because I do all my wrong all alone, all by myself, and nobody gets hurt. How's that? That's amazing. To me, at least. And if everybody else was like that, then yeah, sure. It's true. Okay, then. So I'm gonna go ahead and I don't know, get my pajamas on or something.